I was 34, jobless and sleeping on my sister's futon in a two-bedroom apartment she shared with her fiancé and two screaming toddlers. When you hit that kind of rock bottom, anything looks like up. So when I found a listing for a studio apartment at half the usual price right in the city, I didn't hesitate. It was listed on a sketchy local housing site. No photos, just a short caption. Quiet private unit, utilities included, available immediately, cash preferred. That should have been my first red flag, but desperation will sand down all your instincts. I called the number, and a man picked up on the first ring. He said his name was Eli, the building manager. He sounded distracted, almost like he was whispering through a hallway. "You want it?" he asked. "I haven't even seen it yet," I said. "It's available now, cash up front, month to month, no questions." An hour later, I was standing in front of a 5-story pre-war brick building on a quiet block in the northeast end of the city. I had never noticed it before, tucked between two taller complexes like a forgotten tooth. The building was symmetrical but strange. All the windows were dark. The entry buzzer was broken. I banged on the door, and Eli opened it just a crack. He didn't smile. He didn't even fully open the door, just nodded and handed me a ring of keys. No parties, no guests, pay on time. Then he shut the door. I found the unit, 3E, at the end of the third-floor hallway. The carpeting outside it was newer than the rest of the building, like someone had replaced it just for that one door. The peephole was covered with black tape. Inside, the apartment was perfect. It smelled faintly of lemon and dust. Clean wood floors, full kitchenette, closet already stocked with empty hangers, a queen bed with pressed white sheets, and not a sound from the rest of the building. I dropped my duffel bag and lay back on the mattress, staring at the ceiling fan. No creaks from upstairs, no traffic noise, just a constant hum, low and warm, like a refrigerator running somewhere in the walls. The next morning, I stepped out to get coffee. That's when I first noticed it. The door to 3F was open, but the apartment was gutted. No furniture, just exposed drywall and a single folding chair inside. The woman standing in the doorway, thin gray coat, hair tied back too tight, stared at me like I had broken into her dream. "You live there?" she asked, pointing to my door. "Yeah, just moved in yesterday." Her eyes darted up and down the hall. "There isn't a 3E, she whispered. She closed her door without another word. I brushed it off. Maybe she was confused. Maybe there used to be no 3E and they built one in. Still, I checked the mailboxes in the lobby later that day. They were labeled 3A, 3B, 3C, 3D, then 3F. No 3E. I stood there, staring at the gap between 3D and 3F, like it could explain something. When I asked Eli about it that night, he acted like he didn't know me. "You rent from who?" he said through the crack in the door. "You. I pay you rent. Unit 3E. He paused. "There's no 3E. You're mistaken." He shut the door on my face. Over the next week, things escalated. The ceiling fan turned on at night, even when I'd unplugged it. My phone refused to charge inside the apartment. It would drain battery instead. I left a glass of water out and found condensation on the outside, but the inside was bone dry. And every morning there were fresh footprints in the hallway, bare feet, child-sized, leading from my door to the stairwell. I started knocking on neighbors' doors, anyone who might have answers. Most didn't open. One old man on 3C just whispered, "Get out while you can," and shut the door. The final straw came when I tried to apply for a new job and listed my address. The online form wouldn't accept it. I called the HR rep and gave her the address manually, 48 Crescent Avenue, Unit 3E. She paused. "We don't have that unit on the city grid," she said. I looked it up myself. Google Maps showed the building, but only listed units 1 through 5 per floor. E was missing entirely. According to every database, postal record, and housing site, my apartment didn't exist. I had been living in a space that officially wasn't there, and something else was definitely living there with me. I stopped sleeping. At first, I told myself it was stress, unemployment, my savings running out, the isolation. But it wasn't just insomnia. It was the feeling that something was watching, not from the window, Not from the hall, from inside the apartment. It began with the closet. One night I opened it to grab a hoodie and noticed something behind the hangers. A square cut in the drywall. A patch, really. Poorly done. I pressed on it. It gave a little. So I got a screwdriver and peeled it open. Behind the patch was a void. A dark crawl space between the walls. Dry, narrow, and filled with stale air. I aimed my phone's flashlight inside. There were old newspapers stuffed into the corner, a child's shoe, and a Polaroid photograph. It was of a man, sitting on the very bed I was sleeping in. Same sheets, same furniture, same room. His eyes were blacked out with what looked like ash or soot, smeared by a thumb. Written on the back, 3E remembers. The next night, I dreamt of him. He stood at the foot of my bed. Same gray shirt as in the photo. Same hollowed eyes. He didn't move. He didn't speak. But I woke up with my feet covered in dirt and an old key in my hand. Not one from the ring Eli had given me. It was rusted, cold, ancient. I tried to leave, packed a bag, called a cab. But when I opened my front door, the hallway wasn't there. I swear to you, there was no hallway. Just another room. Empty. Silent. With a single chair and a light bulb swinging from the ceiling. I backed up, shut the door, and locked it. When I tried again 5 minutes later, the hallway was back. But the mailboxes downstairs? The labels were gone, all scratched out except mine. 3E was written in thick black marker, fresh and wet. I didn't write it. That night, the voices started. Whispers. Coming from the bathroom tiles, the vent above the stove, the inside of the refrigerator. Always the same sentence. You're not the first. You won't be the last. I screamed, banged on walls, tried to record them. Nothing showed up on the audio. It was like the apartment was gaslighting me, wearing me down with quiet things that only I could hear, that no one else could verify. I stopped calling Eli. He never answered. I went to the leasing office listed online. It didn't exist. The address led to an empty lot. I filed a police report, but they laughed when I said my apartment didn't exist. You have power and plumbing, don't you? One officer asked. That means someone built it. But when I brought them to the building, 3E was gone. I swear, my door had vanished. There was blank wall between 3D and 3F. They threatened to arrest me for trespassing and escorted me out. I tried one last time to reach anyone who had lived there before. I posted on local forums, shared the photo I found. One user messaged me directly. Username, retiredwatcher32, no profile pic. Their message read, I lived in 3E in 2003. I was told the same things, no guests, no noise, paid in cash, the room is a trap. You don't rent 3E, it rents you. I wrote back, what do you mean? They never replied. The next morning, their profile was deleted. I went back to the crawl space that night, pulled out the old newspapers. Everyone had a small article buried deep in the local crime section, each with the same pattern. Tenant found dead in suspected suicide. No note, no signs of struggle. Different years, always the same apartment. 3E. I tried to burn the photo. It wouldn't catch. I threw the key out the window. It was on my kitchen counter the next morning. I stopped leaving the apartment entirely. Something about it had changed. Or maybe I had. The walls no longer felt flat. They pulsed faintly, like they were breathing. The lights would flicker when I tried to speak out loud. And the whispers. Now they said names. Not mine. But I recognized one. The man from the Polaroid. I'd seen his obituary once. Died in 3E. And the other name? It was mine. That's when I realized the truth. This apartment didn't want to be lived in. It wanted to live through me. To exist, it needed a resident. Someone no one would look for. No lease, no ID, just a soul willing to disappear. And I was perfect. It had done this before. Dozens of times, people like me, lost, forgotten, easy to erase. The building didn't care about money, it didn't care about noise. It only cared about silence, secrets, suffering. The last time I looked in the mirror, I didn't see my own face, just someone sitting on a bed staring with blacked out eyes. Now I leave this message, not to warn you. It's already too late for that. I just want someone to know 3E is still open, and it's waiting.